This video covers the US used car market broadly, not one specific model, but the entire buying process and the scams buyers face across all segments. The used car market in the USA is one of the largest consumer markets in the world. Approximately 35 to 40 million used vehicles are sold annually in the United States. Source: Cox Automotive 2023 to 2024. Vehicles are sold through franchised new car dealerships, independent used car lots, private sellers, and online platforms including CarMax, Carvana, AutoTrader, Cars.com, Facebook Marketplace, and Craigslist. The Federal Trade Commission (FTC) regulates used car sales at the dealer level through the Used Car Rule, which requires dealers to display a buyer's guide on every used vehicle disclosing warranty status. Private party sales have significantly fewer consumer protections. Price range: average used car transaction price in the USA, approximately $25,000 to $27,000 as of late 2024. Source: Cox Automotive Mannheim Used Vehicle Value Index 2024. Budget segment: under $10,000 mid-range segment, $10,000 to $20,000 upper used segment, $20,000 to $35,000. Prices remain elevated compared to pre-2020 levels due to ongoing inventory adjustments post-pandemic, though they have declined from the 2021 to 2022 peak. CPO-certified pre-owned vehicles typically carry a $1,000 to $3,500 premium over comparable non-certified used cars. Source: Edmunds, 2024. Who should buy it? Who this guide is for first-time used car buyers shopping on a tight budget under $15,000, anyone buying from a private seller or independent lot buyers unfamiliar with title types, VIN checks, or dealer finance tactics, anyone who has nearly been scammed or wants to avoid it. Buyers relocating from another country or state unfamiliar with US car buying norms. Key benefits of buying used: lower price. Used cars are significantly cheaper than new. A new car loses approximately 20% of its value within the first year and up to 50% within 5 years. Source: Edmunds Depreciation Data, 2024. Lower insurance costs. Used cars generally carry lower comprehensive and collision insurance premiums than new vehicles. More car for the money. A $20,000 budget buys a base new economy car or a well-equipped, lightly used mid-size sedan or small SUV. CPO programs. Manufacturer-backed certified pre-owned programs offer factory warranty coverage, roadside assistance, and multi-point inspections, reducing risk significantly. Established reliability data. Older model years have documented reliability track records through Consumer Reports, J.D. Power, and owner communities. Common scams and problems. Odometer fraud rollback. The NHTSA estimates approximately 450,000 vehicles per year in the USA are sold with fraudulent odometer readings. Source: NHTSA.gov. Odometer rollbacks artificially lower mileage to increase asking price and hide wear. Title washing, salvage, flood, or lemon law. Buyback titles from one state are transferred through states with weaker title branding laws to obtain a clean title. This is illegal but documented extensively. Source: NICB National Insurance Crime Bureau. See flood damage cars after major hurricanes: Harvey 2017, Ida 2021. Ian 2022. Tens of thousands of flood-damaged vehicles enter the used market, often with clean titles after being relocated to dry states. Flood damage causes long-term electrical, mechanical, and structural problems that may not appear for months. Curbstoning. Unlicensed dealers pose as private sellers listing multiple cars from a personal account to avoid dealer licensing, consumer protection laws, and FTC disclosure requirements. The FTC and state attorneys general actively pursue curbstoners, but it remains widespread. VIN cloning. A stolen vehicle is given the VIN number of a legitimate, similar vehicle. The buyer unknowingly purchases a stolen car, which can be seized by law enforcement with no reimbursement. Yo-yo spot delivery financing scam. A dealership allows a buyer to take delivery of a vehicle before financing is finalized. Days or weeks later, the dealer calls back claiming financing fell through and demands the buyer return to sign new worse loan terms. This practice is legal in many states but is widely considered predatory. Source: Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. CFPB. As-is sales with hidden known defects. In many states, as-is sales allow sellers to avoid responsibility for disclosed or undisclosed defects. Private sellers are frequently under no legal obligation to disclose known problems depending on state law. Fake online escrow overpayments. Scams common on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. A fake buyer overpays with a fraudulent check and asks the seller to wire back the difference, or a fake seller asks for payment via wire transfer or gift cards for a car that does not exist. Dealer add-on padding. Dealers routinely add $500 to $3,000 plus in optional fees and products: paint protection, fabric protection, VIN etching, tire protection, dealer prep fees that carry enormous markups and near zero real value. These are often presented as mandatory. Source: Consumer Reports, Edmunds Dealer Transparency Reports, J. Rebuilt salvage title misrepresentation. Rebuilt title vehicles are sold without proper disclosure of their history. Rebuilt title cars may be 20–40 cheaper than clean title equivalents but can have hidden structural damage, airbag issues, or improper repairs. Ownership costs. Pre-purchase inspection PPI, $100 to $200 at an independent mechanic. The single most important protective step. Carfax Vehicle History Report, approximately $40 for one report, approximately $100 for unlimited reports. Source: Carfax.com, 2024 AutoCheck Experian, similar pricing to Carfax NMVTIS. Check, $2 to $7 through authorized providers. Source: vehiclehistory.gov. NICB VIN Check, free source: NICB.org. NHTSA Recall Check, free source: vin.nhtsa.gov. Extended warranties. VES CS Vehicle Service Contracts, $1,500 to $3,500. Most have significant exclusions and are often not worth the cost for reliable vehicles. Source: Consumer Reports, 2023 State taxes and registration vary by state from 0% Montana, Oregon, New Hampshire to over 9% California, Tennessee. Of purchase price tools and protections available to buyers. Kelley Blue Book, KBB.com, Fair Market Value Pricing Tool. Industry Standard. Edmunds.com, True Market Value TMV Pricing and Dealer Review Tool. Carfax AutoCheck, title history, accident records, service history, odometer readings. NMVTIS vehiclehistory.gov, government title history database. Checks junk, salvage, and insurance records across states. NICB.org, free VIN check for stolen vehicles. VIN.NHTSA.gov, free NHTSA recall lookup by VIN. Consumer Reports used car reliability ratings, subscription-based, widely regarded as most reliable owner-reported data. FTC Buyer's Guide, required on every dealer sold used car. Discloses warranty status as is versus warranty. State lemon laws, most apply primarily to new cars. Some states, for example, California, New York, New Jersey, have used car lemon law protections for vehicles under certain mileage or age thresholds. Safer buying alternatives. CarMax, no haggle pricing, 90-day for 000 mile limited warranty, 30-day return policy. Source: CarMax.com, 2024 Carvana, 7-day return policy. Home delivery, vehicle history included. Source: Carvana.com, 2024 manufacturer certified pre-owned CPO, factory-backed warranty, multi-point inspection, roadside assistance. The safest used car category. Franchised new car dealers. Used lots, generally higher standards than independent lots. Subject to more regulation. Credit union auto buying services. Some credit unions offer pre-vetted vehicle shopping services for members. Buyer warnings: never buy a car sight unseen, especially online. Never pay via wire transfer, Zelle, Cash App, or gift cards for a private sale. Always run a VIN check before viewing, not after a salvage or rebuilt title makes a car nearly impossible to insure at full value and difficult to finance through traditional lenders. Flood cars may look and drive perfectly fine for the first few months. Damage often shows up 6 to 18 months later. Too good to be true. Prices are scams. If a $30,000 car is listed for $12,000 with a vague must-sell quick story, it is not a deal. Dealer finance office F&I add-ons are almost always negotiable or refusable. You are not legally required to purchase them. Always read the full contract before signing. Never sign a blank line. Never sign "will fill it in later." Check open recalls before buying. The seller is not required to fix them. You will inherit them. Get a pre-purchase inspection by your own mechanic, not one recommended by the seller. Final market verdict: the U.S. used car market in 2025 to 2026 offers buyers more information tools than ever before, but scams have evolved alongside them. Odometer fraud, title washing, and flood cars remain serious and documented. Threats: the buyers who get hurt most are those who skip the VIN check, skip the inspection, and trust a good story over verifiable facts. A $150 pre-purchase inspection and a $40 Carfax report can save a buyer from a $5,000 to $15,000 mistake. The used car market rewards the prepared buyer and punishes the rushed one. Every year, hundreds of thousands of Americans buy a used car and immediately regret it. Not because the car was bad on paper, but because they skipped a few simple steps, trusted the wrong person, or didn't know what to look for. Some of them paid for flood damage they couldn't see. Some drove off the lot with a rolled-back odometer. Some signed paperwork they didn't fully read and spent years paying for it. This video is about making sure that doesn't happen to you. We're going to walk through the real used car buying process, what scams are out there, how they work, exactly how to protect yourself, and what tools are free and available right now that most buyers never use. This is not a list of vague tips. This is a practical, step-by-step defense against the most common ways used car buyers lose money in the United States. Let's start with the numbers because they matter. Approximately 35 to 40 million used cars are sold in the United States every single year. The average used car price right now is somewhere between $25,000 and $27,000, and while prices have come down from the insane peaks of 2021 and 22, they are still significantly higher than they were 5 years ago. That means buyers are spending more money, and the stakes of getting it wrong are higher than they used to be. You can buy a used car from a franchise dealership, the kind that also sells new cars from a specific brand. You can buy from an independent used car lot. You can buy from a private seller on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or AutoTrader, and you can buy from large online retailers like CarMax or Carvana. Each of these channels has different risks, different protections, and different rules. And in almost every case, the person selling the car knows more about it than you do when you walk in. That information gap is where buyers get hurt. Most people shopping for a used car think the main risk is buying something unreliable. They worry about repairs. That's a valid concern, but it's actually not the biggest risk. The biggest risks are structural. You buy a car that has a title problem, a hidden accident history, a rolled back odometer, or undisclosed flood damage. These are not mechanical surprises that show up over time. These are deliberate acts of concealment, and they can turn a $20,000 purchase into a total loss. The NHTSA, that's the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, estimates that approximately 450,000 vehicles are sold in the United States every year with fraudulent odometer readings. 450,000. That's not a rare edge case. That's a real and ongoing problem in this market. And then there's flood damage. After Hurricane Harvey in 2017, Hurricane Ida in 2021, and Hurricane Ian in 2022, tens of thousands of flood-damaged vehicles entered the used car market. Many of them were relocated to other states, cleaned up, and listed with what appeared to be clean titles. A flood car can look and drive perfectly fine for the first 6 to 18 months. Then the electrical system starts failing, the frame begins to rust from the inside, and the repair bills start piling up. By that point, the seller is long gone. Let's go through the major scams so you know exactly what you're watching for. The first is odometer fraud, also called a rollback. The seller physically or digitally manipulates the odometer to show lower mileage than the car actually has. A car showing 80,000 miles might have 140,000 miles on it in reality. Higher mileage means more wear, more repairs coming sooner, and lower resale value. The buyer overpays and inherits a car that is much closer to the end of its useful life than they were told. The second is title washing. Every state in the country has a system for branding vehicle titles, marking them as salvage, flood, rebuilt, or lemon law buybacks. The problem is that these brands don't always transfer across state lines cleanly. A vehicle with a flood title in Louisiana can sometimes be retitled in a state with weaker title branding laws and come out the other side with a clean title. This is illegal. It happens anyway. The National Insurance Crime Bureau, the NICB, actively tracks and reports on this, but it's impossible to catch every case. The third is curbstoning. This is when an unlicensed dealer pretends to be a private seller. Instead of operating a licensed lot which comes with regulations, disclosure requirements, and consumer protection obligations, curbstoners list cars from personal accounts, claim they're just selling their own car, and avoid all of those protections. If you scroll through Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, you will find curbstoners. The tell is someone listing multiple different cars, switching phone numbers, or being vague about where the car came from. The fourth is VIN cloning. A stolen vehicle gets the VIN number of a legitimate, similar vehicle from somewhere else. The car looks clean on paper. The history report comes back fine. Then law enforcement traces it, and the vehicle gets seized. You lose the car and the money you paid for it. There is no reimbursement. The fifth is what dealers call spot delivery, but buyers call it the yo-yo scam. You go to a dealership, agree on a price, sign paperwork, and drive home. A few days later, the dealer calls you and says the financing fell through, you need to come back and sign new terms. Those new terms are worse, the interest rate is higher. The down payment required is larger. You either accept or give the car back. This practice is documented by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and is legal in many states, which is exactly why dealers use it. The sixth is dealer add-on padding. This happens in the finance and insurance office, the F&I office at dealerships. After you've agreed on a car price, a finance manager sits down with you and presents a series of products: paint protection, fabric protection, VIN etching, tire and wheel protection, key replacement coverage, extended warranties. These products are sometimes presented as if they're part of the deal. They are not. They are optional. Almost all of them carry enormous markups and limited real-world value. A paint protection coating that costs the dealer $40 gets sold to you for $800. You have the right to say no to every single one of them. The seventh is the fake online listing scam. This is common on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace. The car is priced thousands below market value. The seller has a compelling reason to sell quickly. They're moving, deployed, going through a divorce. They ask you to send payment via wire transfer, Zelle, or gift cards to hold the car. The car does not exist. The money is gone the moment you send it. Wire transfers and gift card payments are not reversible. Here's the good news. You have more tools available to protect yourself than any generation of used car buyers before you, and most of them are either free or very cheap. The first thing you should do before you ever go see a car is run a VIN check. Every car has a vehicle identification number, a 17-character code. You can get that VIN from the listing, and you should check it before you drive anywhere. The NICB offers a free VIN check that tells you if the vehicle has ever been reported stolen. Free, takes 30 seconds. The NHTSA at vin.nhtsa.gov offers a free recall lookup by VIN. This tells you if there are any open safety recalls on the vehicle that have not been fixed. The seller is not required to fix open recalls before selling the car. You will inherit them. Check first. The NMVTIS, the National Motor Vehicle Title Information System, is a government database available through vehiclehistory.gov. A report costs between $2 and $7 and pulls title history across state lines, including junk, salvage, and insurance total loss records. This is one of the most underused tools in the used car buying process. Carfax and AutoCheck are the most well-known vehicle history report services. A single Carfax report costs approximately $40. Unlimited reports run around $100. These reports include accident history, service records, number of previous owners, title history, and odometer readings at each reported service interval. They are not perfect. Not every accident gets reported, but they are a valuable layer of protection. For pricing, use Kelley Blue Book at kbb.com and Edmunds at edmunds.com. Both are free. Both will tell you the fair market price for any specific used vehicle based on year, mileage, condition, and location. If a seller is asking 10% over what CFPB shows as fair market value, you know. If they're asking 40% under, you know that too, and you should be suspicious. If you only do one thing from this entire video, do this. Before you hand over any money for any used car, have it inspected by an independent mechanic of your choice. Not a mechanic the seller recommends, your mechanic, or a mechanic you find independently. A pre-purchase inspection typically costs between $100 and $200. It takes 1 to 2 hours. The mechanic will put the car on a lift, check the frame, check for signs of flood damage, check the brake condition, check for oil leaks, check the transmission, and check for any signs of major accident repair. This is the check that catches what a history report misses, because not every accident gets reported to insurance, and not every shop files records with Carfax. If the seller refuses to let you take the car to an independent mechanic, that is your answer. Walk away. A seller with nothing to hide has no reason to say no to an inspection. Before you buy any used car, you need to understand title types, because the title tells you the car's legal and physical history in a way that no salesperson pitch ever will. A clean title means the car has never been declared a total loss by an insurance company. It's the standard you want. A salvage title means the car was declared a total loss by an insurance company, typically when repair costs exceeded 50 to 80% of the car's value, depending on the state. Salvage title cars cannot be legally driven on public roads until they've been repaired and re-inspected. A rebuilt or reconstructed title means the car was previously salvaged, has been repaired, and passed a state inspection. It can be driven and insured, but many insurance companies will only offer liability coverage, not comprehensive and collision. Financing a rebuilt title car through a traditional lender is very difficult. Rebuilt title cars are typically 20 to 40% cheaper than clean title equivalents. That discount exists for a reason. A flood title means the car was damaged by water and declared a total loss by an insurance company. Flood cars are the highest long-term risk in the used market. A lemon law buyback title means the manufacturer was required by law to repurchase the vehicle due to defects. Some states require this to be disclosed on the title. Others don't. Buying used is the financially smart decision for the vast majority of Americans. A new car loses roughly 20% of its value in the first year alone. Buying a 1 to 3-year-old used vehicle lets someone else absorb that depreciation hit while you get a near-new car at a significantly lower price. The key is doing it right. Here's the process compressed into a clear order. Decide your budget before you start looking and include tax, title, and registration, which can add several hundred to several $1,000s depending on your state. Montana, Oregon, and New Hampshire have no sales tax on vehicle purchases. California and Tennessee charge over 9%. Research the specific make and model. You're considering using consumer reports and owner forums before you look at listings. Know the common problems for that vehicle before a seller can hide them from you. Get the VIN from the listing and run the free NICB check, the free NHTSA recall check, and a paid Carfax or NMVTIS report before you go see the car. Check the asking price against CFPB and Edmunds. If the price is significantly below market, be skeptical. If it's above market, negotiate. Go see the car in daylight, never at night. Never in a dark parking lot, never in the rain. Lighting and visibility matter when you're looking for paint mismatches, rust, or body paneling consistencies that can indicate hidden accident damage. Take it for a test drive on the highway, not just around the block. Listen for unusual noises, feel for vibration, test the brakes, test the air conditioning. Before you hand over any money, take it to your mechanic for a pre-purchase inspection. Read every line of every document before you sign. Do not sign anything with blank fields. Do not let a dealership tell you we'll fill that in later. Avoid any private seller who refuses a pre-purchase inspection. Avoid any vehicle with a title type other than clean unless you are an experienced buyer who fully understands the risks and is buying at an appropriate discount with eyes open. Avoid any online listing where the seller asks for payment before you've seen the car in person. Avoid any seller who creates urgency. I have 3 other buyers coming tomorrow. You need to decide now. That pressure is a sales tactic. The right car at the right price will still be available tomorrow. Avoid buying a used car at the end of the month when you're emotionally tired and feel pressured to close a deal. Good decisions come from clear heads. If the private party process feels too uncertain and you want more protection, there are safer options. CarMax operates with no haggle pricing, includes a limited 90-day, 4,000-mile warranty on every vehicle it sells, and offers a 30-day return policy. The prices are not the lowest in the market, but the process is straightforward and documented. Carvana offers a 7-day return policy and includes a vehicle history report with every listing. Buying online from Carvana carries the same risks as any used car purchase, but the return window gives you time to get an independent inspection. Manufacturer-certified pre-owned programs (CPO) are the safest category of used vehicle. These are factory-inspected, factory-warranted vehicles sold through franchise dealerships. They typically come with an extended powertrain warranty, roadside assistance, and a documented multi-point inspection. They cost more than comparable non-certified used vehicles, usually $1,000 to $3,500 more, but that premium buys real protection. The used car market in 2025 and 26 gives buyers more tools to protect themselves than at any point in history. Free government databases, affordable history reports, and established pricing tools are all available right now. Most buyers who get hurt aren't hurt because the tools weren't there, they're hurt because they moved too fast, trusted a good story, or thought skipping the inspection would save them time. It won't. $150 spent on a Carfax report and a pre-purchase inspection can save you from a $10,000 mistake. That's the math. Do the checks, read the title, use your mechanic, and don't let anyone rush you. The right car is out there. Take your time finding it. Every year, hundreds of thousands of Americans buy a used car and immediately regret it. Not because the car looked bad on paper, but because they skipped a few steps, trusted the wrong person, or didn't know what to watch for. Some ended up with flood damage they couldn't see. Some drove off with rolled back odometers. Some signed paperwork they didn't fully read and spent years paying for it. This video is about making sure that doesn't happen to you. We're going to walk through the real used car buying process, the actual scams out there, how they work, how to protect yourself, and which tools are available right now that most buyers never bother to use. This isn't a vague tip list. It's a practical, step-by-step guide to the most common ways used car buyers lose money in the United States. Let's start with the numbers. Between 35 and 40 million used cars are sold in the United States every single year. The average transaction price right now sits somewhere between $25,000 and $27,000. Prices have come down from the peaks of 2021 and 22, but they're still well above where they were 5 years ago. That means buyers are spending more, and the cost of getting it wrong is higher than it used to be. You can buy from a franchise dealership, an independent lot, a private seller on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or a large online retailer like CarMax or Carvana. Each channel carries different risks and different rules. In almost every case, the seller knows more about the car than you do when you show up. That information gap is exactly where buyers get hurt. Most people going into a used car purchase think the main risk is reliability. They're afraid of repairs. That's fair, but it's not the biggest risk. The biggest risks are structural. You buy something with a title problem, a hidden accident history, a rolled back odometer, or concealed flood damage. These aren't surprises that develop slowly. They're deliberate acts of concealment, and they can turn a $20,000 purchase into a total loss. The NHTSA estimates that approximately 450,000 vehicles are sold in the United States every year with fraudulent odometer readings. That's not a rare edge case. It's an ongoing, documented problem in this market. And flood damage is real and widespread. After Hurricane Harvey in 2017, Hurricane Ida in 2021, and Hurricane Ian in 2022, tens of thousands of flood-damaged vehicles entered the used market, cleaned up, relocated, and listed with what looked like clean titles. A flood car can drive fine for the first 6 to 18 months, then the electrical system starts failing, rust forms from the inside out, and the repair bills don't stop. Here are the major scams, named and explained. Odometer fraud. The seller manipulates the odometer physically or digitally to show lower mileage. A car reading 80,000 miles might actually have 140,000. The buyer overpays and inherits a car much closer to the end of its useful life than they were told. Title washing. Every state brands titles for salvage, flood, or lemon law buybacks, but those brands don't always transfer cleanly across state lines. A flood-titled car from Louisiana can sometimes be retitled in a state with looser branding laws and come out looking clean. It's illegal. It still happens. Curbstoning. This is when an unlicensed dealer poses as a private seller listing multiple cars from a personal account, claiming to just be selling their own vehicle, and avoiding all the consumer protections that licensed dealers are required to follow. If someone on Facebook Marketplace is listing 5 different cars from the same profile with vague stories about each one, that's a curbstoner. VIN cloning. A stolen vehicle gets the VIN of a real, similar car from somewhere else. Everything checks out on paper. Then law enforcement traces the real VIN and the vehicle gets seized. You lose the car and the money with no reimbursement. Yo-yo financing. You agree on a deal, sign paperwork, and drive home. A few days later, the dealer calls financing fell through, come back in and sign new terms. Those new terms are worse. This is documented by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and is legal in many states, which is exactly why dealers do it. F&I add-on padding. After you've agreed on a car price, the finance office presents a menu of optional products: paint protection, fabric coating, VIN etching, tire and wheel coverage, extended warranties. These are often presented as part of the deal. They aren't, they're optional, they're marked up heavily, and you can decline every one of them. Fake online listings. The car is priced several thousand below market. The seller has a story moving, deployed, going through a divorce. They want payment via wire transfer, Zelle, or gift cards before you see the car in person. The car doesn't exist. Once you send that money, it's gone. Here's where most buyers leave real money on the table: the free and cheap tools that exist to protect them. Before you go see any car, run the VIN, get the 17-character VIN from the listing and check it yourself. The NICB offers a completely free stolen vehicle check, 30 seconds. The NHTSA at vin.nhtsa.gov offers a free recall lookup. Open recalls belong to whoever owns the car. The seller isn't required to fix them. Check before you buy. The NMVTIS available at vehiclehistory.gov is a government title history database that pulls records across state lines, including salvage, junk, and insurance. Total loss records. A report costs $227. Most buyers have never heard of it. Carfax and AutoCheck are the most widely used history report services, roughly $40 per report. They include accident records, service history, owner count, title history, and odometer readings over time. They're not perfect. Not every accident gets reported, but they're a meaningful layer of protection. For pricing, use Kelley Blue Book at kbb.com and Edmunds at edmunds.com. Both are free. Both will tell you what that specific car is actually worth based on year, mileage, trim, and your zip code. If a seller is asking well above that, you negotiate. If they're asking well below that, you ask why. If there's one thing worth doing from this entire video, it's this. Before handing over any money for any used car, have it inspected by an independent mechanic, one you find, not one the seller recommends. A pre-purchase inspection runs between $100 and $200 and takes 1 to 2 hours. The mechanic will put the car on a lift and check the frame, the brakes, fluid conditions, signs of flood damage, oil leaks, and signs of bodywork or major repair that didn't make it into the history report, because not every accident gets reported to insurance. Not every shop submits records to Carfax. If a seller refuses to let you take the car to an independent mechanic, walk away. There's no legitimate reason to say no to that. Before you buy any used vehicle, understand what the title is actually telling you. A clean title means the car has never been declared a total loss by an insurance company. That's the standard you want. A salvage title means it was totaled, deemed too expensive to repair relative to its value. It can't legally be driven until it's repaired and re-inspected. A rebuilt or reconstructed title means it was previously salvaged, has been repaired, and passed a state inspection. You can drive it and insure it, but most insurers will only offer liability coverage, not full coverage. Traditional lenders often won't finance rebuilt title cars. They're typically 20–40% cheaper. Then clean title equivalents. That discount exists for a reason. A flood title means the car was water damaged and totaled by insurance. Highest long-term risk in the used market. Buying used is still the financially smart move for most Americans. A new car loses roughly 20% of its value in its first year alone. Buying a 1 to 3-year-old vehicle lets someone else absorb that depreciation while you get a near-new car at a much lower price. The key is doing it right. Set your budget before you start looking and include tax, title, and registration in that number. Depending on your state, that can add anywhere from a few $100s to several thousand. Montana, Oregon, and New Hampshire have no state sales tax on vehicle purchases. California and Tennessee charge more than 9%. Research the model you want. Consumer Reports and owner forums will tell you what goes wrong with that specific car before a seller gets the chance to hide it. Run the VIN checks before you go see the car. Check the price against BB and Edmunds. Look at the car in daylight. Paint mismatches, inconsistent panel gaps, and surface rust are hard to spot at night or in the rain. Test drive it on a highway, not just around the block. Then get the inspection. Then read every line of every document. Before you sign, no blank fields. No, we'll fill that in later. A few things to avoid outright. Don't buy from any private seller who refuses an inspection. Don't buy anything with a non-clean title unless you fully understand the risks and the price reflects them. Don't send money before seeing the car in person. Don't let anyone create urgency around a decision that involves thousands of dollars. If the private market feels like too much uncertainty, safer options exist. CarMax offers no haggle pricing with a 30-day return window and a limited 90-day, 4,000-mile warranty on every car. Carvana gives you 7 days to return. Manufacturer-certified pre-owned programs are the safest category. Factory inspected, factory warranted, and documented. They cost more, typically $1,000 to $3,500 above comparable non-certified vehicles, but that premium buys documented protection. The tools to buy a used car safely have never been more accessible. Free government databases, affordable history reports, and transparent pricing guides are all available right now. Most buyers who get hurt aren't hurt because the information wasn't there. They're hurt because they moved too fast. $150 on a history report and an independent inspection is the cheapest insurance you'll ever buy on a $10,000 to $25,000 decision. Do the checks, read the title, use your own mechanic, and don't let anyone rush you.